Well, hello, my beautifuls. I missed you guys so incredibly much. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you had a beautiful Easter. Lots of goodies, lots of good eats, lots of good family. I had a really relaxing time. Oh, by the way, this is kind of this is kind of cute. So, I went to get my taxes done, and to make a long story short, it worked out well in my favor. I've done a really good job of understanding how to do YouTube, and so it was real smooth, and it came out in my favor very well. So shout out to Lori at H&R Block for doing my taxes. It was a little joke because we had a very short appointment where we spent like 30 minutes talking about Sebastian Rogers and other missing kids because she had never even heard of the genre. And I tried to like back off several times because I can get overzealous in talking about it. I knew she wanted to get taxes done, but she was so drawn into it. She was like, "So then, do people do posters?" She was asking a lot of questions. So shout out to somebody that truly cares. Now we're going to be talking about Sebastian Rogers. And when I was on Dolly Vision watching him the other night, I was in the audience because Seth Rogers, the real father of Sebastian Rogers, who is the 15-year-old autistic male, young man that is missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee. So the real father does like a call in. Okay, you know those programs. And one of the things that I can't remember how Dolly said it, but he alluded to the fact that Seth wasn't giving him any answers, and obviously the dad doesn't know anything. But Seth, the dad, had to have a meeting that very day with TBI and other investigators with the mother for sure, possibly stepdad, we're not sure. So that would mean that Katie Proudfoot, the mother, who was the last one seen and known to be alone allegedly with Sebastian the night that he disappeared. So they had this mother and real father meeting with TBI. And so Dolly's like trying to get the info. Like, why did you get called in? Why was everybody called in? And Seth went into detail about how it was something that he had been asking for since the very beginning, and that was last proof of life. And he got to see a film, a video, and it was of Sebastian not in the restaurant, but walking to or towards Katie's car with Katie. Okay? So that was important. But Dolly kept pushing a little bit further, and he just felt like he wasn't getting anywhere. And Seth was being very forthcoming. But Seth also was following what he's been told by law enforcement. There's some things that he's just not going to discuss. And then Dolly expressed that is how do I get what you know or something like that. Anyway, the answer that Seth gave us was to Dolly, you're not asking the right questions. And that has stuck with me because I know Seth is on the up and up looking for his son, right? He is boots on the ground, sweat and blood, gonna find his son. And I watched his profile. He puts his hands behind his head during the interview on the parking lot there. And people try to make something out of that. I'll tell you right now, he's been on his feet. He's a heavy set man. I 100 believe 1,000% Seth is doing that body motion with his hands up behind his head to alleviate the pain and stress from standing so much in the same spot and talking to this lady. I believe that is a physical response to alleviate some pain. It's also wide open. He is like leaving his primordial protective spot, which is his sacral chakra, completely wide open to anything. He is being vulnerable. And so I can't see anything nefarious. I did ask the questions I felt I needed to know. And Seth was absolutely at work, like beginning to end, and on camera, and with many, many other people. I won't call him coworkers because he works in a jail. But there were witnesses. There's no question. And this is a man that has been honest from the get go to us, and I value what he says. So when Seth, a man of few words that is solely focused on his son, is saying, ask the right questions. You're not asking the right questions. Y'all are not asking the right questions. I'm like, what questions should we be asking? So, hello everyone. I want to welcome you to our all star panel. And we have Interior Family Studios as well as Jenny from Jennyville, Jenny Troglet, modding for us today. And we have Rondi Potter. Thank you, lovely. So if you are watching a replay, feel free to hit the fast forward button as much as you like. I just greatly appreciate you tuning in. We're going to be talking a lot about where was the last place that Sebastian is seen and how does that change our perspective? And what do the shoes have to do with it? Because I've been doing a lot of thinking about the shoes and I want to get into that. Hello, Windy City. Welcome to 1111 True Crime. Hey, Kim French. You say I believe Seth hired a private investigator as well. I pray Seth finds Sebastian. Allegedly, the rumor on YouTube is Seth has 4 private investigators. 4, right? He wants his son found. Hello, April Moyer. You say I've seen that the interview was when Dolly was questioning the real father. Right, right. Hey, Ash Cap, how you doing? Gemini 65, Lee McKenna. Hello, lovelies. Angela Lester says it made me think of Chris Watts. Hmm. You know, the difference is that, you know, how do I want to put it? Energy. I'll just leave it at that. I just truly believe Seth. Now, I'm not saying you have to. I just truly do. I put him through my victimology, internal red flag test, and he came out with gold stars, really. And so I would be absolutely shocked, like blown back, and actually have to question myself if it were to be made aware that somehow Seth was involved in any way. That's just my humble opinion. Feel free to feel the opposite. Kim Prince said Seth got a sprained shoulder as well. He's hurt inside and out. I can feel it. I can truly feel it. Hey, Pauline to go. How are ya? Well, you're on the right channel. We love dogs here. 111 in chat already. You guys, I missed you guys so much. Hey, first name. So, I want to talk about the shoes for a minute, you guys. And I really want to think about, like, what how do I want to approach this with you to convey this in the strongest way? So in the Nicola Bully's case, it was her phone that everybody was like, oh, that's where she was, right? Because it was by the bench. And it's still a mystery today. Um, Shoes are real personal. Car keys, wallet. But, when you're a child, it really has to do with the shoes. And wherever the shoes are, you look around and you're like, well, surely they're nearby. Their shoes are here. It's one of the ways I can personally tell if I hear my front door open and close and I go downstairs and I don't want to, call through the house to do a roll call to find out who left. And I'm curious, I'll look at the shoes lined up at the door. Whose shoes are missing? Obviously, that's a person that went out. Now, I'm going to give you a really weird one, okay? So, we had a child that went missing up north about 3.5 hours from where I lived, and I was terrified for this child. She was found safe and alive. She escaped and was able to contact a neighbor of that area. She had been held against her will, held captive for weeks and weeks and weeks, and she escaped, and she is healthy. Unfortunately, the abductor killed her mother and father and then grabbed her. She came home from the school bus. He saw her get off the school bus, and that was it. That was all it took for this individual to decide that this was the action he was going to take. All right? So when you look at that, I was very concerned because it was getting cold fast and we're in Wisconsin. And I'm like, okay, we're fighting the clock on this. There is no way this, and I can't remember how old she was. I want to say 13 or even 11. She was very young teen. And I woke up one day and there was a pair of boots, rubber, like young woman's boots, sitting in my dining room, rubber boots. And I'm like, who the hell are these? And I didn't understand it. Like, I got freaked out. I'm like, where did these boots come from? They're just sitting in my dining room. I called all my friends that had daughters. I'm like, did you guys drop off a pair of boots at my house or something? I was thinking of my nieces and all my goddaughters. They've been over to the house and left boots, and I keep a clean house. I woke up, these boots are sitting in the middle of the floor. I couldn't think it over. Well, the week before, I had had an unexpected guest. The people across the street were notoriously insane, and they would have the cops called on them regularly. Literally, in our wonderful little neighborhood, we had one house that was absolutely trying to destroy each other physically. They'd get drunk and baseball bats would come out. We'd call the cops. Well, one night that past week, I went outside to get something and I heard yelling and screaming, but I heard two little kids. And I'm like, oh crap, they got their grandkids on the weekend when they're going to go nuts. Holy shit. So I hurry over and I realize it's like very wee hours in the morning, like 1, 2, maybe 3, I don't know. And there stands the two little ones. One's 5, one's 7, and their backs are to me. They're standing in the front yard. The lights are all on in this house, and I can literally see the silhouettes of absolute all hell breaking loose. So I called 911, got our local dispatch to come in and take care of them. But rather than put these kids through hell, I knew the mother very, very well. So I brought them into my home and got them tucked in for the night. Well, lo and behold, I had went in my basement and I had found some old shoes that I could put on this child because she had been standing barefoot to return her to her mother because the mother was in town and didn't even know that she was going to have kids, didn't even have shoes with her. So the shoes were being returned to me and there they sat in the middle of the floor. And I didn't recognize them because it had been years and I wasn't thinking real clear. So shoes matter. A long story not short. I pulled a Nancy Grace. Okay, the point being, if Sebastian did not make it home from that restaurant and you would like someone or everyone to buy your story that he did make it home from the restaurant, all you simply need are his shoes. Now, we have now established that that was a false dog hit, that there are no sense, and it makes no sense why Sebastian, who lived there, is not being sensed by the dogs. So I'm asking this question and hoping that it's right. Is it possible that those shoes were the only thing of Sebastian that came home from the restaurant? Because if he didn't leave on foot or with someone, then he's still in the house. And we know that's not true because they've had every kind of listen to me. More comments are coming in about it's time for the FBI to come in. Not only is the FBI been involved, we have Secret Service involved in this case. Explain to me why. How deep does this go? What the hell is going on that Secret Service is involved in the case? I've never heard of that. All says so agree with that strange fact. Most the middle says thud. And is that all a story? Oh, that's right, Angela Luster. You get a gold star. Boom. You say, did they say where they found the glasses? So, in the presser, y'all, that presser had me spitting mad. I'm sorry. I'm not mad at them, but I'm mad at what one of the comments about social media. Ugh. But let's stick to this thing. With Sebastian Rogers, his information is pinned above and it will be pinned below the video as well and in my description. If you know or you see anything, you say something. That's how it works around these parts. And the number is there, 1-800-TBI-FIND, and the other number all spelled out in numbers. Right? Spelled out in numbers, right? Oh, okay, Danny. All right. Lee McKenna says, with the water in his brain and hearing that this, I think he could have been really hurt. Hey, Elmer Woods, lovely. That presser was awful, says Gemini 65, in my opinion. First name says, I think they are the ones behind the threats and stalking. Okay, let's get back to the presser. Oh, did we get a tale on the drama? So we were told that everybody that was searching needed to go home because it was called off because of death threats to the Cajun Navy. We also were told they were working with police. All that is bull crap. The LE have no death threats. None have been called in. Not one. Not one. And they're not working with nobody over at Cajun Navy. Boo! So start discerning when your gut is telling you something's wrong. Don't let anybody convince you otherwise. Stick with it because you're probably right. When we were healing, that's wonderful too. But hearing, the locals such as Cluematic, go check her out. You might just love her. She's pretty cool. Anyway, she's a local and she's working very hard on covering Sebastian's case. And she was expressing very unbiased but concern for how unorganized the search was, like being sent away, being told not today, not being told where the searches are to go. It was so disorganized she couldn't make sense of it. And that's very discerning. I mean, that needs to be discerned, who is for Sebastian and who is not. Because if they're not, then they need to get the heck out of the way and let those volunteers, we the people, okay, the other presser part. I'm going to get into it. Woosa, woosa. I'm not going to lose my crap. Woosa, whoo. Breathe in, breathe out. We the people are the social media. I repeat, we, the people, are social media. Again, let me explain this. We, the people, are social media. Who is finding the victims? Who found Riley Strain? The public. Who found Gabby Petito? The public, a YouTuber. Who found Kylie Rodney? The public, a YouTuber. Should we keep going? Should we just keep going? Because you need us. So stop getting on your pressers and calling us as if we are a generic form of a nuisance as social media. There are some of us that put his face out there every chance we get. And yes, we theorize. You're not the only ones as law enforcement that have theories. But there are some of us Not all of us are out here for clicks and views. Some of us are out here because we give a shit. We truly want this child found. So back up, Buttercup. Y'all ain't that great at things. I mean, what happened in the Gabby Petito case? We had every ABC agent, from FBI to whoever, and the mama and papa, the public, found Brian's bones, his sack of bones. I mean, the public is you like I said, the public's the one that found Riley Strain. It was a worker. What about Nicola Bully? Same thing. Public. Um, how are we, as influencer, supposed to get the public to give a care about the thousands and billions of people missing if we cannot share their story and theorize? Because if there's no interest in solving the crime, they're not going to put the effort out there to get the face out there and tell the story. You have to get the public emotionally invested as much as you are, and that's why you're holding pressers. But at the same response, we as creators and influencers, we also have a role in discerning what is rumor and what is fact. We need to say, disclaimer, this is a rumor, nothing more to it. And as listeners, you are doing a job too for Sebastian, a very big job, because for every person you tell, that person tells two others. You're getting the word out there. You're the most important part of this process because you're covering the most ground. So you need to be very discerning and accountable for the information that you're providing. I have people that have come onto my channel and announced, as if they know it for a fact, that he has been found. Search off. And you know what happens? I ban him after I check and he's not found. No question asked. I don't care how long that person's been there. That is the most hurtful thing you can do to this child, is convince anybody he's been found. So you best do your research, because I darn sure am trying to make sure that before I put something out there, I have always put the disclaimer, this is in my opinion, this is speculation, this is fact. We know this for a fact. And so, yes, that presser sparked me. But we all have to do this because Sebastian only has you. That's really the truth. You are his dad. Okay? You are his mom. And Seth is his dad. And Katie is his mom. But you are also his parent. Because when a child's missing, they become our responsibility to find. No parent can do it alone. So this is our baby that we are responsible to find. And I'm not coming down on y'all in a harsh way. I'm just saying, I'm not taking kindly to the fact that, we're being discriminated against by law enforcement, but media is being put up on a pedestal when media is using anonymous sources and they're the ones throwing out false footage that is, micro-sized and blown up and purposely misleading. So excuse me if I take a poop and then, strut my feet away from it right on your front door and say poo-poo on you. Don't poo-poo on me and think I'm not going to poop bigger back. You want our help. Trust me. We, as social media, the public, have a bigger following than your media in some cases. Even if we're just, trying to help. Okay, I had to get it out. Most in the Middle says FBI can suggest more than one state involved, but not always. Hey, welcome back, Bellin. Bellin says heard at least one channel creator said Cajun Navy was scam and taking donation money from people but not doing the actual searching. Maybe why there may have been threats against the searchers. No idea if any of it is true. Thank you, Bellin. And that's all it takes. No idea if any of it is true, right? Hey, Lucy Lou. Hey, Stephanie, welcome to 1111 True Crime. You say Chris had friends in LE. That is true. He has used his resources to taunt and make their lives hell, in my opinion. His daughter has made his daughter has made his daughter's life miserable. I'm not sure on that what you're meaning. Everything he can say or do to Nina, he did it. Well, I take everything that an ex says with a grain of salt, but we do know that there was a huge struggle there for Nina to gain confidence back in her world and that she was bullied by this family. You can tell. It's very honest. She was bullied by this family. I don't want to dive into the details. I'm not going to play he said, she said. I'm not going to get distracted by it. All it did is confirm that my snipper's working and I'm on the right trail. Okay? And my trail is leading me right from the Texas Roadhouse between there and home. What do you guys got? Let me know. Let me know. Hey, Kim French, a psychic from Canada, has found other missing people in working with a YouTuber that's out of search. She thinks she has the location. He will be back out on Friday. Search, hope they can find him. I pray they find him. This would be the best belated Easter present in the world, is to get one of these missing kids found. To be able to at least move into the justice phase of it all, or the understanding of what happened. So let's pretend for a minute that we are at that situation of having absolutely no evidence of what happened. And why do I ask you to pretend that? Do we? Because isn't that what Ellie is telling us? And isn't that, in the Summer Wells case, what TBI is telling us? There's absolutely no evidence of anything foul play happening. It isn't clearing anybody. Don and Candace Wells are not clear. And guess who's not clear? Nobody else. Is there anything that is evidentially connecting foul play to any of the parents of Don Wells or Sebastian, to the parents of Summer Wells or Sebastian Rogers? No. But are any of them clear? No. Because we don't have the answer doesn't mean that anybody is clear. And that's frustrating. That's frustrating. Most in the Middle says Secret Service does forensics, suggesting they want things tested. Now, did they find the glasses? Were they Sebastian's? And if they did, the big question is, where did they find the glasses? Where were the glasses? And when were they found? And of course, we'd want to know, how did they get there? They could just be anybody's glasses. Until we hear otherwise, all we know is glasses were found. Annette says Banfield reports rumors and false information, often, in my opinion, allegedly. Thank you. Kim French says, I'm praying for Sebastian to be found. Me too. Like Mother and Father Gaia and the universe above, we ask humbly from our 1111 energy for protection to surround Sebastian Rogers and draw him near to us, bring us to him. Find Sebastian Rogers as soon as possible. We all combine with one voice. We want Sebastian Rogers found. We appreciate your help. We trust that our prayers are answered. We've been told, ask and ye shall receive. This is a need. This is a need. We need him bound. Thank you. In the name of Jesus, I pray this. Amen. And there, our love just went to him. Our strength goes to him. Elmer Wood says, yes, Mama D pulled off Volunteer Park at Arrowhead. It's literally been, whew, it's literally between home and Texas Roadhouse. Told Sebastian to get out, in my opinion. You guys listen to me. Listen to me. I know you're not into tarot if that's not your thing. But our very first reading on Sebastian, I got hung up on Arrowhead. Then we found about Arrowhead Park afterwards. We found out about the Cajun Navy afterwards. I mean, I made a big deal about Arrowhead. I made a big deal about Native and Indian. Not just the name Arrowhead, but actually Native Indian. I kept pumping you guys during that tarot reading. If Chris Proudfoot could possibly be Native. And you guys were like, nope, he's Irish or something like that. Guess what? Nina and the daughter are Native. I don't know what it means. Is there a connection? Why Chris can't have his daughter and the timing of the disappearance of Sebastian? Are you following me? Is there, okay, we've got this disconnect, right? We have a new bed in the garage that is for whose room? The daughter's. Chris Proudfoot's daughter. But if she can't be in the home when Sebastian's there, is that a tale of making future plans that Sebastian would not be in the home? And you might say yes, because Sebastian wants to go to live with Seth. And you could be right, right? Because Seth has made it clear, allegedly, what Seth said was that Chris, not Katie, Chris, the stepdad, came to him a few weeks before Sebastian went missing and asked him if Sebastian could come live with Seth. And Seth said yes, and actually enrolled the child in school near him. The handover was taking place. The handover was getting ready. But I'm just saying, it just seems awfully strange that the timing of the whole, like, the daughter not being allowed in the home of Sebastian's there. What happened? What could have occurred between, and it would have needed to be between the two. And I'm just going to ask you guys. I have to ask you. This is one of the hardest things I've ever had to ask. Was there something with the teenager and not understanding the birds and the bees where somebody explored something they shouldn't have? And then their parents were like, oh, nope. Oh, no, 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 no. And then there's resentment toward the male as to why the female can't be in the home. I have to ask the hard ones here, y'all. I just can't believe that this child is going to leave the house without a phone or food or anything. No self-preservation. I feel Sebastian would have had to be running for his life in order to leave that house without a backpack full of his phone, his food, his shoes, his coat. I mean, why wouldn't he pack? He would have to be running for his life, in my opinion. Maybe he got upset, says love you too much. Most of the middle says, no way could I eat at a restaurant anything while I was wondering if my kid even had food or water. I can't imagine, so I can't even comment. My mind can't go there. I'd be mortified. Crime on a Dime says, what is the name of Mama D's other channel, love? Aw, thank you so much. Hey, Crime on a Dime. Everybody go hit up Crime on a Dime. Check out that channel. And then also, while you're doing that, checking out other channels, be sure and get ready. After this, we're going to jump over for those that are into tarot. We are going to be jumping over onto our true crime mama, and we're going to be doing a reading on Madeline Soto's mother and what did she really know. Because there are no charges in the Madeline Soto case at all regarding her death. None. How big was this scene going on? Who all knew? Did the mother know before? And did she know what had happened? Did she take part in it? What happened? I gotta know. So that's what we're doing. And that channel's exploding. That's doing incredible. I want to say thank you guys. Hey, Lucy Loohoo. Like, how could you go out to eat and act like you're living your best life when your child is missing? It reminds me of Lori Vallow, y'all. It reminds me of Lori Vallow. Everybody else is like, oh, this reminds me of that, and so and so. And nope, I get Lori Vallow. I do, like just living it up and doing her own thing. Only she's at least, putting on the sad face. There are so many kids in our cases missing. The only ones I have yet to hear of law enforcement finding one of our missing kids. It's always been the public tip. Always. I mean, I tried to rack my brain today. I'm like, when's the last time I heard of law enforcement finding a body? It's always like the public. Into Family Studio says, yeah, I was just thinking about Lori Daybell case. Well, and isn't Chad Daybell's case starting or something? Annie D says, I keep wondering if they found his glasses in a place that may implicate one of the parents. Maybe they did this presser today to see what their next move will be. All right. That's you get a gold star. You could be right. So what she's saying is, did they try to poke out the fact that the glasses were found to see what the next actions are of a guilty party, right? To see what the reaction would be if the guilty party knew that. And I do want to make a note. When it is rumors, I tell you it's rumors. And this is 100% a rumor until otherwise proven. So rumor has it, whisper has it, that the locals had their own group while searching for Sebastian and trying to keep alert on everything. And it was local to the town of Hendersonville where Sebastian Rogers went missing. And allegedly there was a false alarm of someone being found, a body being found, like a false alarm, like it wasn't. And allegedly, rumor has it, and that's all it is. Don't make it more unless you approve. But rumor has it that Katie's simple question was, did they have their shoes on? Now, that could be just a complete lie that somebody made up. But that bothers me. Lee McKenna says, well, maybe Katie will flip on Chris with her martial arts and give him a taste of his own medicine, in my humble opinion. Well, who knows? Who knows? I don't wish anybody strife. I just want Sebastian back safe. Okay, first name says at 1111, are you familiar with Bohemian Grove? That's where some of them are. I will look into that. Thank you for that tip. I greatly appreciate it. Now, you guys, this is our 5-minute warning. where we've got 5 minutes left and then we're going to jump up here. I don't want the live to go for days. I want everybody to be able to get on here and get involved in the conversation and then watch replay without taking up the whole night. We just want to get Sebastian's face out there, bring that awareness. 1-800 TBI Vibes. This is Sebastian Rogers. Now, he didn't leave his house wearing any shoes that we know of, right? But we have no proof this kid made it home from the restaurant. So my question that I came online to talk about is, how much do we just assume by associates of a physical property of someone? So, if you came home from work and your spouse or significant other, if their car keys are sitting on the table and their car is in the driveway, do you naturally assume they are home? Because we are not our car and we are not our keys. If you wake up in the morning and your spouse is not in the house, but their phone is here, do you think, well, he probably forgot his phone or she forgot their phone? Or do you assume that there's foul play because their phone's left behind? Something happened quick. They didn't get a chance to grab their phone. Do you think of your billfold or your wallet or your purse as part of who you are? And therefore, if somebody always sees you with it, and then they find your purse on a dead end road, are they going to assume that you've been hurt when maybe you're just picking flowers nearby? My point is this: we cannot assume that because there are shoes that the person wore on a regular basis sitting by the front door, we cannot assume at all. We have to be very open-minded. We cannot go narrowly and follow shoes, right? No more than we can just blindly follow the tarot reading. We have to discern between the last proof of life is the restaurant. Right outside the restaurant, Sebastian is seen on video going toward the car. He wasn't happy looking. He wasn't bouncing. He was just simply walking, according to Seth. And until we know otherwise, the biggest question that I have for every single person, including law enforcement, which I do give a lot of respect to, but hey, you want respect? Share some respect. We all are working hard here. And the biggest question I have is, how do you know that Sebastian wore his shoes home? Even if he had them in on his feet on that very last day, right there on camera. And if there's anything at all I can tell you, is if that child went missing after that restaurant and those shoes are by the front door, Houston, Hendersonville, we have a problem. And I'm talking major. So start focusing on how those shoes got on that front doorstep. I want to thank you so much. I hope that you will click the thumbnail that is offered to you that will take you over. If tarot is not your thing, I totally understand. I really do. But I'm going to tell you now, that's where we get a lot of our tips, that we investigate. Tarot is not a direct answer. It is guidance in the direction. You still have to do the work. So that's the way we do it around these parts. I love ya. To the moon and back.